and welcome to our program today, our webinar. We are so excited that you are here. We are unlocking financial confidence for neurodivergent women, and we wanted to kind of focus on this because everyone gives the same messages, but in life, what I've discovered is sometimes it's not what's being said, but the way it's being said that can make the difference for people. So we wanted to try and approach this with a more of a hands-on approach in a situation where we can have interaction and let you ask questions as we go, provide tools that should work for everyone, and that you don't have to have a huge understanding of finance in order to make them work for you. So that's kind of what our goal is, and that's why we set this up. This is, please throw your questions into chat if you have comments, questions along the way, because we want it to be an interactive event, and we want you to be part of what we're doing. So I've already got people saying hello. I would love that. Tell me a little bit, like, for instance, where you're from. Is it, Florida? Is it Ohio? Is it, wherever you're from? So just give me a hello and what state you're from to get us started on that. And I'm gonna, while you guys are doing that, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about me, because it's always good to have an understanding of who you're talking to and understand where they're coming from, so that maybe you can see that everyone thinks that people who help with finance or help with these types of situations were born with a silver spoon in their mouth, and I definitely was not. So my situation, hello Diane, nice to see you. Hi Erin. My situation kind of started like this. I'm going to take you back in time to when my kids were about 3 and 2, and I had a husband at the time that if he had $1 in his pocket, he liked to spend two. And that put me in a situation where, as he used to like to say, oh, you're smart, you'll figure out a way to pay everything. At one point in our married life, I had 14 different credit cards that I would try to bounce payments here and there to make sure we didn't have late payments. I would, when we had big things that we had to purchase, I had to figure out who had a 0% finance for so long, because when that time was up, I'd have to figure out where I could bounce that to in order to have time to get it all paid off. Life was very stressful, but what I determined was we have superpowers. And yes, women, I am talking to you specifically, because as women, we often wear multiple hats and have to balance several balls while they're juggling in the air. And the superpowers that I developed over that time period now seem kind of strange, but they were critical for me to get through my daily life. I could look at an ad and tell you which store was going to have every item at the different prices, even if the sale item was better than the other, because I had to have that stuff memorized. I'm going to date myself a little bit now. I could tell you, okay, if I write a check on this day, I could actually go get diapers, groceries, those things that were needed, and there would be enough time for the check to clear that the money would actually be in the bank for it. Desperate times, I would, after the kids went to bed, or times like that, I would take walks by myself. It was a time where I could cry, I could sort things out, kind of figure out where I was going to make things work. And the kids didn't see mommy cry. The kids didn't have to see mom's weak point. And I remember one walk specifically. I was walking and I was getting ready to cross over the railroad tracks, look down, and there was a $20 bill. And it was nested between the rail of the railroad and a rock, almost as if someone placed it so it wouldn't blow away. And I started sobbing because I needed that $20 that week so bad. I wasn't sure how I was going to get the things I needed. And I'm seeing in the comments, there's other people that have been there, are there, and they know that feeling. And it's a horrible feeling. It's like being pulled in a tidal wave, and you can't see up or down, and you don't know what to do. You just keep swimming, and you're just exhausted. You are so tired. That was, for me, a breaking point, because I realized $20 could save me but it only took $20 to break me. And I realized I had to start trying to figure out something to get ahead of things. And that's where I started educating myself on how compound interest worked. Oh, trust me, I knew how it worked against me with credit cards because I was in that vacuum. I needed to figure out how to make it work for me because it's a powerful tool, but you need to use it for good versus evil. And I say credit cards are evil because once you get in that vacuum, it's hard to get out. I started understanding how tools could be used that I could put money into them and I could get money back tax free from them. And I could turn on income streams later on in life that would actually help me in my later years. I started understanding how indexing worked so that I could have gain without loss. So those are the things that once I learned those things and once I started understanding how it worked, started putting to work for me. Now, that husband, we divorced and it was amazing. Now I could actually start controlling my budget and start making these things work better for me. And I took control of my future. And now I'm to a spot in my life. And I tell you this not to be boastful because I'm humbly telling you this. I can go to the grocery store, buy whatever I need. I don't have to go through with a calculator and a piece of paper and keep adding everything to make sure that when I get up to the cash register, I'm not mortified because I have to put things back because I don't have enough money. I can actually now help family members when they have those financial crunches. I can, help them out. And again, I'm not saying this to be boastful because it's nothing that I'm amazing. It's just that I learned some things, and that's what I want to do now is help other women learn these things, hopefully shave off some of the learning curve for you so that you understand these things faster than I did and you're at a younger age when you're empowering these things. And we like to give nuggets of information to empower you to make better choices or at least have enough knowledge to make the choices so that you can actually turn it around for yourself when you're available, when it's a possibility. So with that being said, that's who I am. And that's why I do what I do. And I hope that you take something from this. And like I said, this presentation is interactive. So we're going to go over a lot of tools. When you registered, you should have gotten a gift vault. And within that gift vault, there were some things that were going to help you do what we're going to do today. We're going to go over all those tools so you know how to use them and you can utilize them in the most efficient, effective way possible. So let me go ahead and share my screen. I want to start our presentation and bear with me just one sec. Okay. And flip the switch. And right now you should see a mostly green screen with a silhouette of a person with a bunch of dollar signs ringing around in their head. Is that what you're seeing right now? If someone could just throw a yes in the comments, that'd be great. Are we seeing that okay? Excellent. So, unlocking financial confidence for neurodivergent women. As I said, I do have clients who come to me and they learn things a little differently. So, we wanted to be able to reach out to everybody with this. So, when we are looking at this, we start with how do I know where I'm at financially? What's the best way? What's the starting point? What's the starting gate to get started? And normally that's with understanding what assets you have and what expenses you have. So we can help keep track of the expenses so that we can make better choices along the way. Easily compare your spending to the amount that you've got coming in as income and reduce surprise payments because there's nothing worse than thinking, oh, wow, I'm doing really great this month. And then realizing, crap, I forgot about this payment that I had. So I'm going to, at this point, actually share the tool that we sent to you. And let me grab that real quick. Share this. Okay. We call this the monthly budget. And if you are very familiar with computers, this should work great for you. But even if you're not, this should work really well for you. Are we seeing this clearly? Excellent. Now, the thing that we really wanted to make sure was that you could see every month. So there's a different tab for every month as you go along so that you can compare how you're doing with the previous month. And if you need to make changes, you can make those happen. At the top, you're going to see that these are fixed expenses, the cost of the expense. You can actually go through and put a check mark when you've paid it that month. So at a glance, you know if you've got everything paid. And then notes, if you need to put a note to yourself, like why was this a little more expensive, or why was it a little cheaper this month, or just little notes that help you along the way. But it's all in one spot for you. Okay. And then you'll scroll down and you're going to see that we have variable expenses. The difference between the fixed and the variable is really easy. Fixed expenses, same every month, no change in those most likely. Variable expenses are things that, okay, like the groceries. You can have an estimate of what you think you're going to spend for groceries, and that's where you put your planned expense amount there. And then actually what you do spend, you put here, and that's going to give you an idea of how much you went over or how much you went under what you had planned to spend. And again, notes. So let's say you plan on spending, depending on family size and all that, but let's say you plan on spending $200 for your groceries, and you actually spend for the month, let's say you spend 250. And then you can come over to your notes and you can put in why. Maybe you had a party that month, or maybe things were just more expensive, but you could put a note in there. Maybe you had, like I said, a party. So we'll put party. Now you know why you went over that month on your grocery expenditures. And then we're going to go through each of these. But I want to come back up to our fixed expense, and I'd like to get some real life numbers. Um, Diane, you're seeing the screen okay? Okay, I've got a couple other people answering yes. So Diane, I hope you are too. Um, what I'd like is if some people could throw some numbers in there. Give me a rent, what you pay for rent, what you pay for utilities, what your expenses are. So let's just put some real numbers and have some real life numbers in here. So who will be my first volunteer just to throw some numbers out? Don't be shy. And no one can see who's paying what for what. This is all just between you and I, and I'm not going to name who's paying what for what. Okay, so we've got 1,300 for a mortgage. Very good. Thank you for that. Do we have anyone with utilities? Okay, great. I've got someone put their phone is $103. Thank you. Anyone with utilities or internet? Okay. All right. I had another person with a phone. Can we get some other, maybe a car payment or great. Okay. An OHA. Oh, that's a good 272. Is that yearly or is that monthly? The 272 for the OHA. Oh, okay. FPL 154. That's a utility. I know that one for sure. So let's go down here for utility and put 154. And if you have like that one, thank you so much. That was FPL. So we know that that's electric for the utilities. If you've got other utilities, you could always add them. These are going to be where you can edit them and put in specifically for your needs. But that's great. Okay. And let's see. Internet 98. Fantastic. Okay. And I've got a car payment here of $350. And I had the internet for 98. Excellent. Oops, I put the car insurance in the wrong one there. $350 for the car payment. Okay, delete on that. Car insurance. Someone had $250 for car insurance. Okay, so we've got some numbers here. Now we're going to slide down, and you'll see here we've got subscriptions, and we have a separate tracker for that. So we're going to look at that in a little bit. But you can kind of get a gist of how this is working. We've got our costs, and once we make those payments at the end or the beginning of every month, we would just go through and put an X or put a check mark. So we know that we've paid that. So at a glance, you know right where you're at for the month. So let's come down now to our variable expenses. And again, if anybody wants to just shout out some numbers that they know that they spend, that's great. Oh, okay. Thank you. That HOA, that was homeowners insurance. Perfect. I'm going to go back and throw that one in real quick. While everybody gets me, just give me some numbers for restaurant, gasoline, transportation, medical, recreation, hobbies, and we'll throw those numbers in real quick. And I'm going to come back up to, we did not have homeowners insurance in there, so that's fantastic. We're going to add that home insurance, and that was $850. Perfect. You guys are getting the gist of the game. And I say game because when you start trying to get everything balanced and that, don't look at it as a struggle. Look at it as a fun thing because you're getting ahead of your finance. You're taking control. Okay, I've got a couple numbers there. Someone for gasoline, they must drive a lot for work. They've got $300 for gasoline for the month. What other numbers do I have here? Perfect. You know, that's a valid comment. I had someone say they've never taken a look at what they spend for restaurants, but they know that they eat out at least once a week, but they've never really actually added up what that came to. So this is again just a way to kind of keep that perspective of where you're at. So let's just we're going to throw $75 in there. If you eat out once a week, it depends on what kind of restaurant and everything, but transportation, someone said 0, they have a car, so they don't actually spend anything extra for transportation. They don't have any medical or recreational hobbies. Okay. Oh, there we go. Someone said that they like to spend, they budget, they like to spend, do hobbies, so they give themselves at least $25 a month for hobbies. Okay. So now when we scroll down, you're going to see that this has been keeping track of what their budgets were. Now what did they actually spend? So let's say they only spent $50 or $59 for the restaurants. Gasoline, they budgeted $3, but maybe they spent $278. And for their hobbies, they went ahead and they spent that $25 for the month. So you can see at a glance, you know where you went over budget and where you didn't go over budget. And here is the total expenses was $612. How much money do you make per month? So let's say we make $3,500 a month. And our total expenses, let's see, was $3,105. Plus $612. So for our situation that we just threw together, our total shows that we're spending more, and that's why we're ending up in the red every month. But now that you're empowered and see how that's happening, you can make tweaks to make those adjustments. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down or a yes or no or a Y or N if that makes sense on how the budget is going to work or how the assessment is going to work for you. And are there questions? Does anyone have any questions on how that works? Okay, I don't see any no's or N's they're not getting it. So it looks like everyone's got it. No one has any questions on that at all. Oh, thank you. That's the easiest thing I've ever seen to utilize. I've been told to use a budget, but didn't know what to do or how to work the budget. This makes it easy. Thank you so much. You're so welcome. That's what we wanted to do. That's what we wanted to create, was something that would work out fantastic for you. And again, with it having the tabs, it will give you a chance to reflect monthly where you were and where you're going and how you're getting there. I had someone said they hate math so much. This is awesome. Yes, that's what we wanted. That was the goal of creating this for you. So If there are no other questions on this, this was one of the gifts, one of the tools that you're going to get, and you can save that and download it, and you can make changes as you need to make those variable expenses or those fixed expenses match your specific lifestyle, and go ahead and keep track of it and get a firm grasp on your spending. So if we have no other questions, I'm going to stop sharing this and go back to our slideshow. Let's share. Okay. Are we back to our, let's put that in there. Are we back to the slideshow? Are you seeing the monthly budget planner where we left off? If you could just throw a yes or a no or a Y or an N. Yes. Yay. Thanks. Awesome. Okay. Okay. I'm getting all yeses. Fantastic. So next, what we wanted to do is create a credit card benefit organizer. What I see a lot with people is we get credit cards and then we just kind of use whichever one. So we wanted to create something where you can actually empower yourself to get the most out of your credit cards and let them pay you to use them instead of you paying them to use the card. So you should have gotten this again when you registered, but let's hop over here. And this is what your credit card benefit sheet should look like. And as you can see, we've got some of the main things that you utilize a credit card for: gas, grocery, restaurants, all other purchases, and then purchases specific to clubs like your Sam's Club, your Costco, TJ Maxx. It can be Apple, depending on how you use your cards. So let's hop and actually look at, we kind of went through and filled this out to give you an idea how it works. When you look at that, when you get your statement for your credit card, it's going to tell you, there's a section on there. It will tell you if it's a cashback card, what you get cash benefits for. So for instance, if we just threw some numbers in here, you'll want to look at your cards because some of these numbers go far above 1 and 3%. Some actually have like a 4%. But you can see the Costco card, when we go through and we measure it, we get 1% for gas, 1% for groceries, and so on, but 2% when we use it in the club. So if we're going to go to Costco, it probably makes sense to use that credit card because you're going to higher cash back on it. Discover 2%, 1%, 2%, 1%. Well, if I'm eating out, this card is going to give me the best bang for my buck. So I'm going to use that card for that situation. Then when you look at the Amex card, wow, I get 3% for gas and 3% for groceries. Do you see how now we're using this card for us instead of for the company? Now, I'm going to tell you the biggest part to a credit card, and when I say you getting paid to use it versus them getting paid to use it, is you have to pay off the balance every month. That's the only way you really get the full bang from using a credit card. Because when you're getting that 3% back, they're paying you now to use the card unless you carry a balance, and you're paying whatever the interest rate is, which on a credit card, and I don't know the specifics of these cards, you'd want to look at your statement again, but it can be anywhere from 15% to 30% interest if you carry a balance. And I understand sometimes we have that debt. Remember, I understand that swirl that you can get in and how compounding can work against you with a credit card. That should be a main goal. If you do have a balance on a credit card, try to get that paid off as soon as possible so that you can actually start making the card work for you. And I know it sounds like, oh yeah, I'll just do that. It's a process and it's going to take time, but you can do it. I know you can. I've been there. You can get out of that swirl. Don't lose faith. And with tools like this, you're going to start seeing how you can make the cards work for you. So you have that gift, and this is how you want to set up that sheet, and then start using the cards according to how you get the most payback from them. Okay. Do we have any questions on the credit card sheet, the tool to use for credit cards? Does it make sense? Does it make using your credit card seem a little easier on how to use them smarter? I have a smiley face. Good. Okay. I do have someone say that they're in that swirl right now. And is it just on one card or do you have it on multiple cards? Okay. So, okay, that's a great question. If you have multiple cards that you do have a balance on, I would look at which card you have the highest interest that you're paying and really focus on trying to get that one paid off first and then the second one. Um, if you have to keep putting money on a credit card, anything new that you add to it, try to only add what you could pay off. If you could pay that amount off every month and then keep working to get the others paid off. And again, I know, and this is where one on one conversations really help because we can actually kind of look at that. Um, yeah, multiple cards. Yeah. And that's where you really have to look at the statement and see what the amount you're paying and try to approach it that way. But again, one of the gifts that you're going to get is for a one-on-one call, and we can actually look at some of that stuff and we can fine tune everything and try and help you specifically figure out that path to get you where you want to go. Okay, so any other questions, comments, thoughts on the credit cards themselves? Okay, looks like most of what I'm seeing is the same thing. Um, just trying to get the credit card under control. Yep. And this will help you do that and help you eventually start to get paid more for using it. Okay. Subscription tracker. This is a big thing that I've seen with different people. We've all signed up for that subscription and then lose track of how long was it free and how much was it going to cost after it was free. So we wanted to keep track. We wanted to create a tool where you could actually keep track of it. And then at the end of the free period, make that decision. You're empowered to have that decision because now you know when it's going to end. So we created this and let me flip over. This is what the subscription tracker looks like. And you can see that there's a lot of different columns here, but this is giving you the name of the subscription. How frequent is it? Is it a monthly? Is it a yearly? Is it a quarterly? So that you can keep track of that as well. Because a lot of people on, kind of looking back at that credit card and keeping control of that debt, what happens is people have signed up for subscriptions and forgotten about them. But every month or quarterly or annually, that subscription is being pulled out. So when we start taking control of the credit cards and you start looking at those credit card statements and where is money going, someone just tagged in, they definitely need this one. So good. I'm so glad. And hopefully this will help you kind of get control of that. Once you see where those subscriptions are, now you can decide, do I still need this subscription? And if not, you can stop that subscription. And that's one way that you can actually help get your credit cards paid off sooner or get control of them. So we know the frequency, the account used for this. Again, if we're using a credit card, which card? So again, you can monitor it. Is it a free trial? If it is, for how long and how do I cancel it? And then the email that it's associated with, because again, subscription, you might have taken out when you used a different email and never even checked that email anymore. So we want to make sure that you have that control over knowing where they are and what they are. And then any notes about it. Maybe you want to have this, but you only want to have it for a year because you're going to be doing something with the subscription for a year. But after that, you want to remember to cancel it. So that's how this is going to benefit and give you, again, a little bit of power. So we went ahead. This is an example so that you kind of know what's going on. Okay, our example is Netflix, Hulu, Grubhub, Costco, and BarkBox. But again, whatever yours are, put them in there. And you can see how the monthly rate is, how we're paying for it. Is it a free trial? Yes or no? Reminder on the phone. How are we remembering to cancel that when that free trial is up? This just helps you be accountable too, because I don't know, maybe you're not like me, but every once in a while I think, oh, I need to put a reminder on my phone and then forget about it. So this is just a nice way to kind of keep everything organized. Questions on the subscription. Okay, I'm seeing very helpful. Excellent. Totally need this. Good, good. Um, Wish I would have had this a few years ago. Well, you have it now. Now you're empowered and now you can move forward. But do definitely look back at your receipts. And I always tell people your credit card receipts, look back at those at least 3 months. 6 months is better because if you have something that's um, every quarter or semi-annually, they'll pull up, and that way you can get these subscriptions on here too. This is another tool that you should have gotten or will get. I've got to look at my list here because we had a group of gifts or tools that you got at the front end, and at the end of today, you're going to get another group of tools. And trying to look real quick if the subscription, where do I get it? There's going to be a spot at the end that you can get this tool because we want you to have this as well. Any other questions on the subscription tracker? Okay, another person, they definitely want this one. You're going to get it, definitely. Okay. And the other question that I'm asked a lot is, how do I make those advancements to get ahead? This is a gift. This is part of the gift packet you already got, and it's what's the perfect plan for me. And along with this, you would have gotten also some information about insurance and different tools that you can utilize for insurance to start creating those tax-free options, like a Roth 401k, like idea or Index Universal Life's IULs. This is kind of, if you got this sheet and you were thinking, I don't really understand what these terms are, that's what that other sheet was about, the Insurance 101, to give you an idea of what these terms mean. SDICs, IULs, annuities, those types of things can be utilized to put money into tax-free growth so that later when you pull it back, it's not going to be taxed on you again. You're not going to have an income stream from that, or you're going to have an income stream, but not a taxable income stream for it. Roth IRAs, where you can actually put after-tax money to turn on later to pull money out, and it grows tax-free for you, but the gains are not considered gains. Those are some of the tools that have the indexing, that have the compound interest, that have some of these ways to grow money for you. And that's why we wanted to include that as well. So I know I've thrown so much information, questions, thoughts, things that I can help with. I have. Okay. The gifts that you should have received at the front end when you registered, I had someone ask what they would have gotten. They would have gotten the credit card information, that credit card sheet, and they would have gotten this, what's the perfect plan, and they would have gotten the Insurance 101. On the back end, you're going to get the subscription tracker that we talked about. And there's also going to be a spot where you can set up a one-on-one call. If you want to look at this information with me, we can actually help you find your path, because the most important thing to getting a hold of your finances is figuring out, where am I at and how do I get where I want to go? So we can help you kind of set that path to figure out your course of action. Okay, savings, question mark. I'm not sure what we mean by savings, question mark. If you could and fill me in a little more there. While she's filling me in on that, the perfect plan, if you kind of read what the situation is, it will give you an idea, and then I can actually help you with all of these things. These are all things that I help people with every day. Okay. Yes. Yes. The sheet that you got on the front end where it talked about Insurance 101, it gives the definitions of an SCIC, of an IUL, annuities, and kind of talks about those things. And yes, there are. Yes, there are different types of IRAs. That's brilliant. You're exactly right. You're excited for the free gifts. Having a savings account, yes, a savings account is good. You know, savings account is a great way to have that emergency fund that if you need instantly, you know, the furnace or air conditioner blows up, having a savings account is a good thing. But if we want to grow our funds and grow our money, a savings account is not the best tool, and only because we don't make much money off of a savings account. There are other ways where we can still have flexibility to have the income or have them access to our money, but have a chance to grow it at a more substantial rate. So, any other thoughts, questions on what we went over today? I hope that answered your question. Yes, it's good, but we can do better with growing money for the savings account. Okay. So here is your code. You can scan this and you'll get that other information or that other tool pack or gift pack for joining us today. We are so happy that you are here. And I thank you for everyone who participated, entered information, had questions, and just kind of gave us some correspondence back and forth. I always love having questions and being able to hopefully answer them and not just talk to myself. You know what I'm saying? Can I make an appointment with you and talk to you? Yes. One of the gifts that you're going to have is to set up a call where we can actually go through and, like I said earlier, look at your specific information and kind of figure out where you're at. Where is your expenditures? Where are your assets? Are they working best for you? Like the savings account question. Great question. I have an old 401k. Yes, that is something that is at risk. 401ks are directly tied to stock market. So there are safer options to roll those into where you can actually still experience growth and not have any risk of any loss. So if you have that old 401k, that is definitely something that we should talk about and get it moved to a safer option. You need help. Fantastic. One of the gifts on there, like I said, is something to set up a personal call. Click that, go on my calendar, schedule a time that we can actually chat and we can look at your specific situation and see what we can do to course your path. You are so welcome. I am so happy. The comment was, I am so thankful that I tuned into this and I thank you so much. Well, great. That was the whole purpose of this, was to hopefully give nuggets of information that would benefit in some way, shape, or form. Okay. I think I have gotten to everyone's questions. If I missed your question, you're so welcome. I'm trying to scroll through and make sure I did not miss any. You're so welcome. Yes, good. Glad. People are saying awesome information. They love the sheets. The tools are going to help so much. You finally feel empowered. Oh, fantastic. Thank you. I'm so glad. That warms my heart. I appreciate that, because that means that we've accomplished something that we were setting out to do. So, okay, fantastic. Thank you for joining us. I'll leave this up for another couple minutes or a couple seconds here so you can grab that if you have not already grabbed it. If you are unable to grab the QR code, you can always go to Bolkowski Agency and claim that packet of tools. Thanks for joining us today. Okay, I'm not seeing any new additional questions, so I think we've gotten all of them. If I missed your question, you can try and throw it in real quick, or schedule a time and set up a time when we can actually chat one-on-one. Okay, thanks again for joining us. Have a golden day, and we'll see you next time.